It's day 10 of the month of January, the year 2026. Good afternoon. Welcome to Weekend Central. This bulletin is coming to you live from the news hub here at Addis Ababa. We are live on Facebook as TV3 Ghana and on DSTV as channel 279. My name is George Quinn. The headlines. Deputy Attorney General Justice Shremsai says Ken Ofori-Attah's visa was revoked by U.S. authorities, adding that the preliminary hearing for the finance minister will be held on January 20 to determine what happens to him. A legal education bill expected to be passed in the first quarter of this year. Well, we have details of these stories and many more coming up in the next 60 minutes if you spend your time with me. You can also get interactive with us. We are live on Facebook as TV3 Ghana. Let's begin from here. Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Shremsai has said that the U.S. visa of former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Attah was revoked in June 2025, contrary to reports that the visa had expired. Speaking on key point, Justice Shremsai said information available indicates that a U.S. visa can be revoked if the holder becomes ineligible for it. Meanwhile, a preliminary hearing for the former finance minister will be held on January 20. Take a listen.
As at June 2025, that's last year, his visa got revoked. I know I have seen statements from people who said the visa expired. The information we have from authentic sources is that his visa was revoked in 2025, June 2025. So he's been living in America without a visa, let me put it that way. We will use every possible legal means to bring anyone who is running away from justice in this country.
Including Ken Ofori-Attah?
Yes. Look, the people of this country have elected President John Mahama to put in place mechanism for bringing people to account. It's a question of accountability. And President Mahama has taken it more seriously than anything he's doing. And we, the persons who have been appointed as ministers to do the work for the president, have no option but to take these things very seriously. And there will not be anything that will leave, any stone that will leave unturned in achieving the goal. And that's what I'm telling you, that if anyone thinks that running away to another country would be a solution to would be a channel or a path to refuse or to refuse to subject himself to accountability. Well, not under this government. We are going to do everything within our powers, which the law allows us to do, to bring anybody back to this country. And it doesn't have to be extradition only. Well, I am not aware of any petition from his lawyers. What I'm aware of is that the ICE itself has its own mechanisms for giving hearing, administrative and judicial mechanisms. He may take advantage of that, and on the 20th of this month, there will be a preliminary hearing on that. And when that happens, depending on the outcome of what his decision is, we may have him or he may remain in the process for a bit, maybe for a few more weeks, but be that as it may, we have been given a job to do. We are committed to doing that job. And we will ensure that what the people of Ghana are entitled to, which is accountability, will be done.
Dr. Justice Shremsai is Deputy Attorney General and Minister for Justice. Still on the key point, investigative journalist Manasseh Azuri says Ken Ofori-Attah's arrest was at a luxury apartment complex by ACTS agents in Washington, D.C., and moved to Caroline Detention Facility in Virginia.
I have had sources that witnessed the arrest of Ken Ofori-Attah, and the sources say he was arrested in Washington, D.C. on the morning of Tuesday, January 6, 2026. And then the information is that this wasn't like those organized raids by ICE at specific places. It looked as if they had gone in specifically for him because the sources say that as soon as he emerged from the entrance of the building, they moved in, surrounded him, got him into the car, and then drove him away. And if you look at the place where he was arrested, it is about 89 miles from where he's detained now. That's about an hour and 30 minutes drive. So that was how it occurred in Washington, D.C. And then there is also the specific location where he was arrested. There is a luxury apartment complex in Washington, D.C., located on the 1111 24th Street in Washington, D.C., and the building is called the Westlight Apartment Complex.
Away from issues relating to the detention of former Finance Minister, Deputy Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Dr. Justice Tremsai, has revealed that the Legal Education Bill, which is currently before Parliament, will be passed in the first quarter of this year. Speaking on the key point, he further announced that the reforms to legal education in Ghana will commence in September 2026.
The Parliamentary Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs is sitting to consider the bill. In fact, they started yesterday. We were there to make presentation. In fact, we presented 4 bills to them yesterday. The 24-hour Economy Authority Bill, the Interstate Succession Bill, which is meant to amend the Interstate Succession Law 1985. Then we PNDC Law 111. Then we have the Governance Advisory Council Bill. And then we have the last one, the Legal Education Reform Bill. So we hope that by middle of this year, we would have had the legal reform bill in place.
Too long.
Yeah, even that's too long. So maybe by first quarter, it would have been passed. And we believe our estimation is that the new regime will start in September, when the academic year starts in September.
The new legal education regime.
Yeah. Precisely.
And what would be the significant changes we will see?
So the law basically is to hive off the regulation of legal education.
Follow Parliament.
From to hive, yes, to hive off.
I have interest in this matter, so I beg you.
Yeah, to hive off the regulation of legal education from the General Legal Council and give it to a different statutory body, and also to take the law school, what we know as Makola, and give those courses back to the universities to run as part of the to run. Then there will be continuing legal education. Then there will be a national bar examination, which would be conducted periodically to determine those who are qualified to be called to the bar. And so now there will not be any Makola as we see it, at least not in this form. And all the courses will be taught in the universities. And then once you are done, at the faculties, faculties of law. And once you are done, you apply and sit for the national bar exam. And when you pass, you are called to the bar by the General Legal Council.
Will this also reduce the number of years? Now we will do 5 years, right?
Yeah, so it would be, no, you do the LLB for 4 years. Those who are undergrad, they will do it for 4 years. And the professional one is 1 year. But you will take it in, so it will be 5.
So how about those who are the
post-degree?
Well,
that's where the argument is.
They would 2 years or 3 years,
so
depending on
look at it.
Yeah, so
right. But for those who are doing the normal stream of their first,
you will do your LLB 4 years, and then you do 1 year of the professional.
But then the post where you go and now it is 3 years LLB and then 2 years Makola.
Yeah.
That is where you are.
That is where the question is whether to
the post-degree LLB is 3 now.
Yeah, it's 3.
We did it 2.
We did it 2 as
3
well.
years
so now it's 3 years it's 3 years.
2 years Makola.
So now we are one of the things that the law would achieve is to also reduce the number of subjects that law students take.
Okay.
Ghana, I think our law students take more of clinical education. Clinical is basically practical education where students have live cases under the supervision of a qualified lawyer to handle. So you don't wait and finish school
apprenticeship
before you start doing that.
Away from the key point, this is some good news coming in for military personnel. Government has secured partnership with a foreign investor to deliver 5,000 8,000 units for the Ghana Armed Forces. The investor, who arrived in the country last night, has announced plans to inject some $50 million into the project.
John Dramani Mahama on January 9, 2026, announced the rollout of an affordable housing scheme for personnel of the Ghana Armed Forces, the Ghana Police Service, and the Ghana National Fire Service. The initiative, being implemented through a partnership with a foreign private investor, will provide 5,008 two-bedroom and three-bedroom residential units across 7 military barracks strategically located in different parts of the country. The project aims to address the long-standing housing deficit within military barracks. Construction will be carried out in phases. The investor of the project is currently in the country to finalize operational agreement with government, which will pave way for the official groundbreaking and commencement of the project. The investor, who is also the managing director of Sinoam Global Fund, Tarek Shufani, indicated that an initial amount of $50 million will be injected into the military housing project.
Well, we're looking to inject initially about 50 million equivalent USD, and of course that will be expanded according to certain milestone and phases which are required by the project. But basically we're here to make sure the project goes from initialization to completion and to provide all the necessary capital that's required. And we're very happy to be here for the first time to hopefully finalize the completion of our agreement and to proceed with the investment.
The Military High Command expressed optimism that the project will help ease accommodation challenges currently faced by personnel.
We know it's about military housing, and as the government has indicated, they're using several approaches to handle the deficiencies that we have in terms of accommodation and other facilities. And this is one of such approaches. And so as they have arrived, from Monday, serious discussions will commence and the details will be finalized.
The investor will work in partnership with a local firm, Early Ghana Limited, to mobilize and manage funds for the execution of the housing project.
As a firm, we are here to help the military to hopefully solve the deficit of the housing deficit. We will be partnering with Sinoam, they are the financiers of the project, alongside with the Ghana Armed Forces and the Ministry of Defense.
With funding secured and partnerships finalized, government says the project is expected to mark a major milestone in improving the welfare of military personnel while reinforcing its broader commitment to providing affordable housing for Ghana's security services. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Accra.
In more news this afternoon, the water shortage in Tema, West, Krowa and surrounding communities has left countless families in deep distress, and bathing, washing, cooking, the very basics of life have become daily struggles. With little hope of when relief will come, residents are forced to rely on sachet water, roam from community to community, or pay exorbitant prices for tanker supplies. Here's a report by Beatrice Adjokosua.
If you wake up in the morning without water, you cannot bath, you can't wash, you can't cook, you can't do anything.
For more than 4 months, residents have been deprived of their most essential need, water. Mothers, fathers, and children alike are enduring hardship, with survival becoming a test of resilience. Families that once depended on Ghana water for their daily lives now find themselves stranded, rationing every drop. Children arrive late to school, workers late to their jobs, all because of hours spent searching for water. Isaac O'Day is pastor of Word of Faith Mission. He paints a troubling picture of survival without running water. A small pail of water is rationed and stretched over several days, used sparingly for cooking, minimal washing, and drinking.
We try to manage ourselves. We have these small buckets that we use to measure them so that you can be able to enjoy at least the few one that you have. Sometimes also when it becomes so tough, you have to buy some of the sachet water to also support it. The water company, when they comes around, to check the meter and you ask what is the situation, what they will say is that water will come.
For Grace, the past 4 to 5 months have been nothing short of unbearable. Each day is a struggle as she waits, hoping for the day the tap will flow again. The situation, she says, has brought her life to a standstill, with washing now a luxury. Grace tells me routine household chores have been abandoned altogether.
The time you're supposed to bath and go, you are now looking for water, searching for water from corner to corner. You go to a place, it stops flowing, they ask you to go to another place. Imagine from 31st night, it is today that I'm washing why that I went to 31st night, because there was no water. So I managed to went out with a taxi to fetch some before today I'll be able to wash.
Tina's story also mirrors the same hardship shared by families in the community. She described how the shortage has disrupted every aspect of her life, from personal hygiene to caring for her home.
It's been very hectic, very, very hectic. There's no water. At times it's come once in a day, once in a week, even that once in a week, crampono. Some areas it doesn't come at all, especially like my house. About 2 months now, we haven't gotten not even a drop of water.
Officials of the Ghana Water Company Limited say the shutdown of the Teshie Nungua desalination plant is to blame. They say once the legal dispute with the plant's owners is resolved, water will flow again to coastal communities.
We've had to shed a little water from Bong with the people within that area. And if you look at the population in that area, there's no way we can serve people more than 3 days in a week. And also because of the new rationing regime, our network is such that we still need to do some interconnections so that we ensure that water will get elsewhere. Hopefully, we should end this legal issues between us and the owners of the plant.
For now, residents of Nungua and surrounding communities continue to bear the brunt of the water crisis. Their social-economic lives will continue to be disrupted until duty bearers resolve the challenge with the water supply.
Dr. Agnes Namomolate is the Member of Parliament for Krowo and also the Minister for Gender. And she joins us via Zoom to deliberate on this very acute water crisis in her constituency. Doc, there's been intermittent water supply in part of your community, and this has been so for a very long time. When will this situation be entirely addressed?
Thank you very much, and a good afternoon to your viewers and listeners. It's been a tough one. Let me begin by appreciating the good people of Krowo and the other communities that or constituencies that are affected by this water situation. This is not what we expect as a constituency. It started from, I think, latter part of 2023, where intermittently you will see the water cut off. But then 2024, getting to the middle part of 2024, things worsened. And so those who could remember, I was coming around with water tankers supplying the community. So if it flows for like 2 or 3 times in a week, the communities that don't have it on specific days, I sent water tankers there to augment what the water company was doing. But then early part of 2025, we were told that there was some control issues with those managing the Nungua desalination plant. And so we've been in a very tough situation. It's not a situation that is lost to the president. I've raised it in cabinet, and the president has a full appreciation of the situation and empathizes with the people. Not just empathy, but His Excellency has ordered for the relevant sectors, the Minister for Works and Housing, to see to it that he works with all the agencies to ensure that the situation is resolved as early as possible. What we came to agreement was that we were going to ensure that consistently the schedule that has been approved or agreed on, if it is 2 times or 3 times in a week, the people are going to receive water supply. so that I could continue with the tankers like I was doing previously. Then we realized that we were not sticking to the schedule. And so some areas are suffering more than the others. And so we came back to the drawing table to see what we can do to alleviate the suffering of the people. As we speak, if it's not been held already, I know the briefing I've had just yesterday from the Minister for Works and Housing is that we are going to some crisis meeting and then they will come out with some concrete solution. But all in all, I can say that we've been patient enough. The people have been very patient with the process. It's not the best of situation. If I can take you a little back, when it started somewhere 2024, I had to make sure that I connected the Nungua Secondary School with I connected them and was supplying consistently water with the tankers there because the girls were having various forms of infections because of the acute water shortage. As we speak, with the help of AXA Bank, we've been able to have a borehole at Nungua Secondary School with some treatment plants, and very soon, once they complete, they will be commissioning it. The other one is the hospital, the polyclinic we have. They've also had AXA supporting, and AXA has drilled a borehole with a treatment plant. So some efforts are being made, but we want to see a lasting solution. That is what the president has ordered to be done. And very soon, we'll see that the situation is resolved.
Okay, Doc, so until that situation is resolved, I know the residents are resorting to water tankers and all that. I know the prices of these water tankers. Are there plans to, relieve them more of subsidizing the charges for them?
Yes, unfortunately, because the water situation is not just Krowo, but other surrounding communities that were benefiting from the desalination plant. They have to travel long distances before they get the water supply. And so they factor in all of these into the charges. And so what I supply to them is free of charge. It doesn't come at any cost. But what they buy is what the price has gone up. And we are trying to see if we can have some arrangements, if we are still at the negotiation level with water companies, to see the hydrants they have around, if they could let them fetch from the hydrants, and then the price will come down, and then people will be able to afford, whilst we take measures to ensure that permanently the problem is solved.
Hopefully our next conversation is about the situation being resolved, among others. And Agnes Namomolate is the Member of Parliament for Krowo and also the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection. If you're just tuning in, you are watching Weekend Central here on TV3. In more news this afternoon, health workers at the Babile Polyclinic in the Lower Municipality of the Upper West Region are calling on the government to complete the 5-year-old abandoned maternity block for efficient maternal health care service delivery. Correspondent Ibrahim Wangara reports that the current maternity ward is not only congested, but also has only one functional delivery bed.
The Babile Polyclinic currently operates a 2-bed maternity ward and a 3-bed lying-in ward. The limited capacity of the facility, healthcare providers say, is negatively affecting maternal and pediatric healthcare delivery. An ultramodern maternity ward project, which commenced in 2020, has since been abandoned. A senior staff midwife at the Babile Polyclinic, Mineyere Roof, speaks about the challenges they encounter in delivering healthcare to residents.
We have only 2 beds in the maternity room. This is the labor room. So normally what we do, this is a side bed. So we have to put it on the ground. Then the midwife has to go down there to conduct the delivery. The delivery has its periods that it comes. From September, they come. So within that month, we can get like 24, 30, 40 days onwards. If it were drawing that time as you have come in like this, you see that definitely we'll be positioning women and we'll be talking push here, 10 years, like that.
Traditional leaders and residents are appealing for urgent intervention to complete the abandoned project. Pogna Rose Yiruku Dako is the queen of Babili.
The ladies will come when they give birth. Sometimes the beds are occupied. Sometimes they have to put some mattresses down for some patients. And you know, as a newborn mother, any other infection can get you and the baby.
Gregory Tenzu is the Babili Youth President.
Yeah, time to come in June, July onwards, you see that the level of the sickness is always too high. And men and women are always placed in the same ward, which is very appalling. It's very not good for us.
The municipal chief executive for Laura, Soyala Cecilia Nuratu, when contacted, assured that the assembly will work to have the facility completed.
The structures are not even enough so that it will match up to the standard of a polyclinic. It will also be repackaged and funds will be allocated for the completion of these buildings.
Bidzieden is the member of parliament for Laura.
How soon as we have money?
Residents are hoping that the assurances will translate into concrete action and the completion of the abandoned maternity ward to improve healthcare delivery. Ibrahim Wangara, TV3 News, Babili.
Sister in Northern Ghana, administrator of the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, Obobia Daku Opoku, has indicated that a cardiac catheterization laboratory will be established in Tamale to ease the stress of patients traveling long distances to access such services. According to her, establishing a cath lab in Tamale is a major priority to President Mahama to bridge the healthcare service gap and ease financial burden of patients. A cath lab is a specialized hospital room with advanced imaging for minimally invasive diagnosis and treatment of heart conditions. Let's get more on this very development from my colleague Christopher Makohesa, Savannah Regional Correspondent. How dire is the situation for patients with cardiovascular problems in the north, and how will the cath lab serve the situation?
Yeah, so George, it's not been easy for patients with cardiovascular problems because of the financial burden it puts on families. Because in the entire 5 regions of the north, there is no cath lab. And so once patients and their relatives visit the health facilities and they are supposed to go for further checks, they will have to travel all the way to Kumasi and Accra to be able to access these facilities. And so over the years, it's become a very major issue for patients and their relatives. It's putting some financial strains on these families psychologically and emotionally. It's also draining them because of the time of travel from one place to the southern part of the country. And so the coming of this cath lab, as announced by managers of the Mahama Care, is something that they believe is going to ease the issues of the financial strain, and also access becomes very easy and quick for them, because issues of heart or cardiovascular issues are issues that need prompt and emergency care. And so once this comes up, it is going to, in the long run, have an impact on healthcare service delivery. Let's take a listen to what the administrator of the Medical Trust Fund has been saying.
Coming closer to the people. Ordinarily, if you need a cath lab, you have to come all the way from Tamale to Kolemu. You might or might not get that treatment you are looking for. You might not even get there. Something would have happened. Some of them needed to fly there. So His Excellency the President is saying that listen, that drama is over. He's putting these cath labs at the center of the country.
And this certainly is good news to health professionals and patients alike. But what have hospital authorities been saying, Chris?
Yes, so George, generally they are very happy. They are happy that their patients who visit the hospital will have access to this facility. They will not have to burden themselves and always doing referrals to go to Kumasi, go to Accra. Sometimes when, according to them, when they even refer cases or patients to go outside the reach of the region to go and access these facilities, they feel it, but they cannot do anything about it. And Tamale Teaching Hospital being a major referral center, not only for the 5 regions of the north, but also across Burkina Faso and La Côte d'Ivoire, is something that they are happy about and are thankful to government and the Medical Trust Fund for considering the Tamale Teaching Hospital to come and establish a CAT laboratory. Let's take a listen to what medical officials, including the cardiologists at the Tamale Hospital, have been telling us.
Revolutionize cardiovascular care in this part of the land. Okay? One of the obvious ones are the management of heart attacks, which involves blood clots, blocking blood vessels to the heart. Okay, so the CAT lab will be extremely difficult. But we have a lot of patient heart attacks on our road. Okay, most of them we are forced to treat them medical, which is not optimal. Okay, so the presence of the CAT lab will help us to really treat these people to the standard that we want. Okay, other conditions like heart blocks will be extremely CAT lab will be extremely beneficial in the management of these patients. But it goes beyond cardiology because the CAT lab will benefit the vascular surgeons because we can do peripheral artery diseases as well.
Thank you so much, Christopher Marco. Here's our Savannah regional correspondent. Some good news coming to people in northern Ghana. A CAT lab to be established to ease the health burdens of residents in northern Ghana. If you are in northern Ghana, let's know what you make of this very move. We are active on Facebook. It's TV3 Ghana. Engage us. Hopefully your comments will be read and shared to the rest of the world. And now December is often the most celebrated month of the year, filled with travel, family gatherings, and social activities. But as the calendar turns, many Ghanaians, especially salary earners, say the real impact of the festive season is felt in January. But why does January seem as the most financially difficult month? Christabel Sasses-Trebe attempts to answer this very question.
Just days after the celebrations, spending habits have changed. With incomes remaining fixed, many salary earners say they are adjusting their lifestyles to cope with post-December expenses.
December had a lot of weekends and chillings and all that, so we've made some few spendings here and there. But, investing has really helped and saving us this January. So for now, I think that so far so good. January is going to be a great month.
For families, the new year comes with no break in responsibility. Schools have reopened, traffic and transport costs remain high, and household expenses continue, even as finances feel stretched. Some workers describe January as the longest month of the year, saying they have had to cut back sharply on non-essential spending right from December.
Spending lavishly or maybe engaging in impulse buying, I knew it to affect me, so I just had to cut down my spending and also allocate some for January.
December payment of salaries actually came very early. But then we were told I know that I have to just keep a portion somewhere, for rainy days and what have you.
It's not really affecting me because during the holidays, there were a lot of hampers and gifts, vouchers. So you get to spend that one. So I'm good for January. But I'm sure I have a few friends who, were chilling over the holidays, back-to-back parties, but I'm good.
Others say lessons from previous years have influenced how they approached December, helping them manage their finances better this January.
I advised myself from my past experiences, and last December, I rather invested my money instead of spending. So I didn't really go out. I was mostly indoors, and this January I can say that my pockets are full.
From social media, I get to hear people saying that January has been long because they spend a lot in December. So it affects their spending in January. Yeah, and it prolongs the month because you don't have much money.
But what makes January the most financially difficult month of the year?
It's the beginning of the year. So the combination of getting paid early, if you're a salaried worker, spending more than you should, and facing some hard to avoid bills can be devastating and can add a lot of stress. I call it the generally blues. It's a tough time. If you are also, if you don't earn a salary, and you are, say, a trader, it's okay. You get to sell a bit more, but in January you see your sales drop, and then you will see the bills come up. If you got some suppliers credit you have to pay, you have to deal with your own spending during the Christmas period. So it can be a tough time all around.
Financial experts say this pattern occurs every year, hence, January demands discipline and careful planning.
You should have a budget. And a budget is not a complicated thing. You should have a budget that says, this is what I'm expecting to receive, this is what I'm expecting to spend, and then look forward to January and say, school fees, X, Y, Z. Unfortunately, budgets are easier said than done.
Beyond the financial pressure, workers say returning to routine life after the holidays has also been challenging.
But coming to work, you have to come back to your normal routine, waking up at 5. And then there's this misconception that during holidays you get enough time to rest. So when you come back to work, you're very strong, yet energized. But like, it's still the same thing, you're getting tired.
I think beginning of January, we didn't have that much traffic because most people were home or on the breaks. But I think now, started from January, from Monday, we had to experience traffic, and then getting cars to the house also has been difficult a bit.
We got time to rest, but now you're back to the 9 to 5 schedule. It's stressful. Yeah, we have to adapt because that's the life we chose.
Shop owners say the shift has also affected businesses.
It's usually the workers who patronize my stuff. So during the holidays, I didn't, have enough sales because the workers weren't around. But January, since they resumed, I think sales have been good.
As the celebrations fade, January is reminding many Ghanaians that December goes beyond money. From tighter household budgets to returning to your normal routine life, the new year begins with adjustment and restraints for many, many families. Christabel Success Trevor, TV3 News, Accra.
Interesting how some people say January has 60 days, but that takes us to our very first break. We're back shortly. Stay with us. It's TV3 Ghana. Now, traders at Makola Market in Accra have admitted to defying the red line policy instituted during the Accra Metropolitan Assembly's decongestion exercise in May last year. They are pleading with the Metropolitan Chief Executive, Michael Kpakpo Alote, to extend the 1-month directive for them to move behind the red line so they manage to sell their wares, which are in excess due to the festive season. I have more in the story. Post this very caution by the Accra mayor to them, what they make of it, are they ready to comply or they are ready to just still sell in this very illegal space?
Mayor, you try to say about.
Also, by the end of January, we will come back.
Then ending, you have a.
And I mean, see, two I better touch over Hana. I mean, see,
yeah, Christmas is very awesome.
Okay.
Or bad year Christmas, or shed that be free.
Okay.
It's one say, it's when I saw 2 hours here. One say, now they were 2 hours here. A son, a person, send your ocean first, Kakrano, or Ocean is Santina, Pameo, no choice. On we are mobile, year or bad time so. On also a crony, a black pain. It's on we are mobile said this month, this month, we until the Busumi way were. Look,
Ayatu is a trader here, and actually, she's ready to comply with this very directive. But clearly, during the festive season, the things that they're dealing are very much in quantity, and so it goes beyond whatever scheduled or line that have been created for them to sell within. But they are sure that within that very time that the mayor is saying, they will work within that. But let's still talk to some of the traders here who are defying this very red line policy.
Mayor Jai, it is here, dear Win. You better come back.
I say end of January.
But Wakache, Yatias, you better call her back.
So she's ready to comply with this very directive. But so we have the Accra mayor on the line, Michael Kpakpo Alote. Mayor, good afternoon and welcome to Weekend Central. Mayor, these traders have admitted that they've actually crossed the red line, and some of the red lines have actually faded. How best are you going to ensure that this is really done and they can actually comply with this very directive?
Mama, first of all, thank you very much. Your Excellency John Dramani Mahama for bringing some initiative and a good policy this afternoon. Good afternoon. I wanted to do vacation there. And we are in town. As I'm speaking to you, I'm not somewhere checking what is happening here. When I go to town, swept everywhere. Everywhere is clean. So I allow them, with the time we give them to sell, open their shops, I give them earlier time because they did what we wanted them to do. Mm-hmm. So in the same way, this time, I'm giving them up to December, ending of December. They will go back because they are compliant. We ask them to clean, they have cleaned. And some of them told me plain that they are going to go back to the line because they have never gotten an opportunity like that. Normally when they are doing it, they don't mind where they're supposed to go. They don't mind where they will sell. They are million enough to tell them to sell behind the line. They will do it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you also mentioned that the impending exercise will not have a human face. Clearly, you are concerned.
No, you see, the first one was for 8 years, they have not done that before. So you have to educate them, talk to them, let them understand why this is important. Mm-hmm. Now, for 1 year, I've been preaching to them, like church members talking to, a pastor talking to a church member. I was talking to them for some time now. So what I know is that when you talk to somebody for some time, and a person will understand that this thing is important. That's why the mayor all the time. Okay. So now, it's after 1 year, I don't think you have to put a human face again. Now we have to enforce the laws to work.
Okay. Mayor, thank you so much for your time and for that very update as well. So all the best. And Michael Kpakpo Alote is the Accra mayor, telling us about the red line policy where they say they are going to institute that to the best of your abilities. In more news this afternoon, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has officially commenced distributing poultry birds to registered beneficiaries in the Ashanti region, marking a significant milestone in the Nkoko Nketenkete initiative. The distribution began at the Adresso municipality and proceeded at Dwabani municipality, with each beneficiary receiving 50 birds and 2 Nkoko Nketenkete branded feed.
The program, a key part of the broader Feed Ghana program, aims to revitalize the domestic poultry sector and reduce the country's heavy dependence on imported meat. Previously, domestic poultry demand before 2025 exceeded 350,000 metric tons annually, yet only 15,000 metric tons were supplied each year domestically, leaving 300,000 metric tons reliant on imports, the ministry disclosed. Addressing a press conference in Kumasi before the distribution commenced, Bright Diboji, the national coordinator for the Feed Ghana program, stated that registration forms had already been dispatched to all metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies across the country to facilitate a smooth nationwide rollout. While the distribution has started in the Ashanti region, he noted that other regions would follow in phases in line with the program readiness and capacity. By providing beds and technical support, Diboji said the government intends to empower local producers to reclaim market currently dominated by imports.
I am very confident that at the end of this program, just this year, 2026, we're going to get a lot of poultry farmers and we'll be able to feed ourselves. The current record of 5% will move to 50%.
Some of the beneficiaries have been speaking to us after receiving the poultry beds.
Away from the Ashanti region, let's move to the Volta region. Chiefs of the Asogli state in the Volta region are appealing for the extension of the amnesty deadline for the registration of illicit firearms. The call was made when officers from the Small Arms Commission paid a courtesy call on the Asogli Traditional Council as part of activities to commission its which is undertaken in the Volta region ahead of the January 15 deadline. The Gun Amnesty Program, GAP, which is being run by the National Commission on Small Arms, is extended to allow people to willfully surrender their illegal firearms without prosecution. And Faisal Abdul Idrisu is our Volta regional correspondent. He joins us via Zoom for more updates on this. Faisal, this call made by the Asogli chiefs, what are the reasons behind it?
George, so the Commission on Small Arms visited Ho over the week to begin a series of engagements and activities towards the amnesty window that has been open since December 1, 2025. This very amnesty is intended to appeal to the public to surrender whatever form of firearm or ammunition they have in their possession illegally or register them. This very amnesty is expected to end on the 15th day of January 2026. And so, as part of the activities, the Commission visited the Asogli traditional authorities to inform them on what they are doing here in the region. And at that meeting, Togbi Aniki III, the chief of Hoheve, who spoke on behalf of the council and on behalf of the Agbogbo of the Asogli state, Togbi Apata the 14th, indicated to the Commission that they would strongly want the Commission and government to consider extending the amnesty period beyond the 15th day of January, so that more people would have the time to either register or surrender whatever form of ammunition they have in their possession. He indicated also that as traditional leaders, they also have firearms that are not registered. And so once the extension is done, it will afford them the opportunity to register. He wouldn't want to see chiefs being prosecuted for possessing firearms illegally or one that is not registered. At the council, he indicated also that the traditional authorities here in the region, particularly the Asogli state, is strongly behind the move and would urge the people within their jurisdiction to make sure they comply with the amnesty period. Let's listen to Togi Aniki III, who spoke on behalf of the Asogil Traditional Council during that visit.
We cannot go down the way other countries have gone and ask the chief director of the
to see if it will be possible to extend the deadline, because today is already around 6th of January. So if we are talking of 15th January, it's so short. Some of us, the traditional rulers, also own guns. We wouldn't want to be arrested for not registering. We would like to register, but the time appears so short that we may not be able to comply. So we want to appeal to you.
First of all, before we go, we know the commission itself is undertaking a series of engagements in the Volta region. Can you run us through these engagements?
Yes, so the commission undertook a series of engagements, and as I speak to you, they are still doing engagement behind the scene to create awareness about the amnesty that has been extended to the public. They have also undertaking a public seminar, awareness seminar here at the regional capital. Apart from the
we've lost our reporter there, Faisal Abdul Idrisu, is the Volta regional correspondent, giving us updates on the Small Arms Commission, engaging residents on the need to bring their illegal weapons swiftly without prosecution. And like I rightly mentioned, active on Facebook, engage us, is TV3 Ghana. In a historic move towards peace and unity, chiefs from the Bimoba, Mua, and Guma ethnic groups in the Bumpurgu area have resolved to put an end to a long-standing clan differences and conflicts. This landmark decision aims to foster sustainable development and harmony within the region. And as a symbol of their newfound unity, the chiefs have agreed to jointly celebrate cultural festivals, an event showcasing the rich heritage of the Bimoba and Mua people. Solomon Kwame Kanawule is our Northeast correspondent and joins us for more updates on this. Solomon, what role are the chiefs expected to play in sustaining this peace initiative?
All right, so thank you so much. So the role that the chiefs are expected to play in sustaining the peace initiative is to be central, as they have committed to working together to promote dialogue, understanding, and mutual respect. So within their communities. So this involves addressing the root causes of conflict and fostering reconciliations, bringing the people together, making them understand that they are one people.
Okay, so what are some of the key messages expressed by the chiefs regarding this newfound unity among them?
All right, so the key messages expressed by some of the chiefs regarding this newfound unity are centered around shared vision of progress and stability. They recognize the negative impact of violence and are committed to promoting peaceful coexistence. So what they shared has to do with the fact that they need to be peaceful. They need to remain united and join hands together. And so what they said has to do with the fact that when they settle in different locations within Ghana or other areas, people perceive that they are different people. So all they are asking and calling people to know is that they are one people, whether Moba, Guma, Mua, or Bimoba, they are all one people. Let's listen to what they have been saying.
And we'll also be hearing from the chiefs on what this very new peace means to them.
So we need peace in the Bimoba land. This is my message to everybody. Anyone who listens to me. Look, we have divided into so many regions and into so many districts. But we don't care of that. Our Moar, our Guruma Bimoba is one. And we always want to go in with peace. We don't want any trouble. So I beg my colleagues, chiefs, everybody, queen mothers, the youth chiefs, Kombanabes, and then the gentlemen, and then all our young girls. We need peace. We have to plead to people that Bimoba has been divided and be under them. They should stop dividing us. We are one people. That's why we are not in one region. We are not in one district. That doesn't mean that we Bimobas, we are not one.
Well, on that note, we end today's edition of Weekend Central. And my producer was Portia Gabo, my director, Harriet Asumda Mensah. Erica also joined with the production. My name is Josh Quinn. For more news updates, just log on to our website. It's 3news.com. Alternatively, join my colleagues, Grace Hamwa, Jim and Crosby Anna, tonight on News 360. Thanks for watching. It's always a pleasure.